Hey, it's Don again. Right out here next to our old 77 CJ5 project we're working on here. I have in my hands my little short MagnaFlow muffler. And if you were with me last go around, you saw me very nearly paint myself into a corner or screw something up beyond fixing with my bung hole here for the O2 sensor, which is this guy. But luckily, I caught my problem before it became a real problem. So I can continue on with our process of getting our Edelbrock Pro-Flo 4 fuel injection system all kind of wired up and so forth. We're going to see about putting some of the components inside of the cabin coming through the firewall with some wiring. In order to make that happen, I have my heating components, the heating duct and all that. I took them in the house, took them up in the bathtub, scrubbed them up, got them all cleaned up, got 80 years of dirt out of them. And they're ready to be put back in place. So that's our main goal today. If you're just joining me for the first time and you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'll give you the quick rundown. This is my 77 CJ5. It treated me well for a lot of years, but it's been sitting in storage for a lot of years and was rusted to the point where we had to put a new tub on, and we've worked the frame over. We put a new short block in, and while I was doing all that, I decided to go ahead and spring for the Edelbrock Pro-Flo 4 fuel injection system. Now it's a port injection, so there's a fuel injector at each intake port, right at the port, right before it goes into the head. So I really am excited to get this thing running. I've just been messing around with the cabling and the wiring harness and so forth. So got to make some progress on that. It's been going slower than I thought it was, but I feel like it's well worth the time to plan this out and not do this wrong. And as you could see from last week, when I nearly did this wrong, I won't say I'm prone to doing things wrong, but I'm not immune from it either. So I'm trying to take my time a little bit and make sure I do this right. It's got to last and it's got to hold up well, and I got to have it in a spot where I don't, I'm not kicking it and it's not getting all covered with dirt and mud and stuff. So come on along, let's see how this goes. I think it's going to be all right, but we got some work to do. All right, well, I took this stuff in the house and set it in the bathtub and washed it. And it is not in very good shape, I gotta say. So the doors here are covered with, they have some foam on them. And that foam, being all these years old, has gotten hard and filled with dirt and whatnot. So I'm not 100% sure I'm gonna be able to, I don't know if there's any way to recondition those. I might pull them out. I think I can take the cable off there and take this one out and see if I can make those any better. At some point you maybe do have to just say it's good enough, but I don't know, this thing is just a mess. Now, I'm not really 100% sure that I can paint this, although maybe it's painted. I'm going to mess around with this a little bit and see what I can do. I do have to I want to get me a new blower motor. I know that for sure. There's the old one. Case is pretty rusty. You just take this one nut off and then you can take your blower wheel off. But again, the reason that I don't want to just put this nasty old thing back in there is because I don't know, new stuff runs forever, right? Or we get rid of our new vehicles before stuff wears out. But this old stuff is going to fail, and it's going to fail probably in the winter when I need it the worst, or it's going to fail when I'm trying to defrost the windows or whatever. I just don't know that it's worth messing with it. So I'm going to look at getting one of those on order. But this is the back part of this. Let me swing this around. So this basically goes like this. I'm facing the front of the Jeep, and this is going to go right up there against the flywheel or against the firewall. Now, as I'm looking up there, I guarantee you that there are no holes through the firewall for these bolts that hold this thing on there. So there's another little annoying thing about our thing. Maybe there are. Maybe I better check that. There might be. Thanks to the boys at Willie's Overland, they may have taken care of me. So what I may be able to do is just set this up in there, get a nut on the back of it so that it's going to stay in place. And that'll give me a chance to measure out where the wiring harness for the fuel injection goes, because that's really what we're trying to accomplish here anyway. So I'm going to move the camera up there and let you watch me do that. And I'm going to try that, just fitting that back plate in there first, just to see how we do. And then that should give me some idea what we got in terms of room to work with here. And then I may take a look at this in a little more detail and see if I can do something to make this not look so god-awful old and decrepit. Because I've looked around online and I do not see this for sale, this whole unit. I see this piece for some reason. I guess people break these or whatever, so I can get a replacement for this bottom piece, because you see it comes off here. There's a bolt there and then it kind of slides in the end. But as far as the whole housing, can't find that. So we're gonna have to salvage that, but we're gonna clean it up a little bit. But for right now, I'm gonna throw this up there and see what it looks like. So I'm gonna re-situate the camera and the light and get everything up there, and then we'll see what we got. All right, well, it seems like I've heard that the first part to fixing your problems, you got to admit you have a problem. I have a problem with dirty, old, rusty stuff. And I'm going to show you what I've been working on here. So this is that back plate for the heater that you just saw me putting in there a minute ago. And I just started a little, cleaning up some rusty spots on it. Next thing you know, I got the drill out and I got the air tools out, and I got the garage all covered in black stuff. So anyway, there's that. So I'm going to clean this thing up, finish cleaning it up. It's almost done, and I'll put a little primer on it. And then now, in my defense, it was rusty to begin with. Parts of this thing go through the firewall, and so they're out there in the weather and so forth. And if you're going to fix something up, you might as well fix it up, right? Might as well do the whole job. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to straighten this out. I've also been kind of trying to straighten out the parts of this that were kind of all wavy from, looks like somebody kind of pried it apart when they took it apart that first time. So we'll fix that up, clean up all the dark dust that this created in the garage here. It's a Sunday night. Probably won't get this all finished up, but I'll get it wrapped up and far enough along to feel like I can put it to bed for the weekend. And then I'll get some primer on here, and we'll get probably just some flat black. I got plenty of that. And then I think a couple of my holes didn't line up very well when I was putting it back up in there in the firewall. So I'll figure that out. Obviously, I think this is a factory original, and the firewall came from Taiwan or whatever, so we don't know if it's original. But also, I did mention, I think before, that I'm gonna have to bob off the back end of some of those bolts I put through there, so I gotta do that as well. But I think this is okay. It's moving along. I'll get it back up in there. So far I have not found the spot where I'm immediately now looking at all this stuff going, oh great, that's where my control unit can go for the Pro-Flo thing. So not really sure where I'm going to put that yet, but we'll get it figured out, so have no fear. But for right now, we're just cleaning up some nasty old parts and making them look new again. All right, well, I've been traveling for a couple days, which was good because gave my paint time to dry. And then I did get on Quadratec's website and ordered up a couple of little bits and bobs that go with this. Like for instance, when you put your heater core here, when it goes in the box, it's going to come poke through here and then go through the firewall. Well, when it goes through the firewall, there's a rubber piece that goes around here, kind of a bushing, kind of a gasket thing. Mine was all old and rotten and stuff, so I ordered a new one of those. There's another one I think that goes on the drain for the whole unit here. There's a couple of those little pieces and parts that I ordered, and those should be here Monday. I ordered a new one of these flex tubes and the defroster tube rather than try to get these nasty things to work again. So I just have a few little pieces of parts coming in. I did get a new heater blower motor. So I think I test fit this once already. I think I showed you that. I don't remember if I did, but anyway, I'm going to put it back in there again. I do believe this one bolt is not going through very well in the hole it's designed for, so I'm probably going to have to maybe take a drill and run a bigger drill bit through there and get that hole a little bit bigger so I can get that in there. But I'm going to mess with that first, get that all good. Then I can really see where I'm going to put this module and get my planning done. So I may move the camera around so you can watch over my shoulder while I do some of that, or I might just come back and show you what I've decided when I've decided. So let's do that. All right, well, I do have that backer plate just in there right now just to show you what it looks like and to scope out my space requirements here. I do want to clarify that. Again, kudos to guys at Willys Overland. My holes are all lining up. I thought that perhaps this hole up here was gonna have to be drilled a little bigger, but no, it's in the right spot. What was the problem was right over here on the side of the tub, this flange right here was sticking out a little too far. So I took the Dremel and just snipped a little chunk of that off, and now this can go in where it needs to go, and I can figure out what's going on. So yeah, we're moving right along here. All right, well, this is a mess, but I just thought I'd show you what we got. So this is that little door that was up in here, and you can see that was just adhesive back foam on there. This little arm went through here, this little screw held it in place, and then that part of it out here is with the pin. Now this is what our heater cable hooks to. So there's that one. This one in here that directs us up or down has a little kind of a lock washer thing that slips over that shaft right there, and that holds our cable on, and I've slipped that off, and now if I can get that off of there, that dude will come out, and we'll give that the same, there we go. So same thing. Wow, look at that, black and nasty rusty stuff that needs to be cleaned up a little bit. And I was wondering, you know, can you paint this plastic? Can you sand it down? So I've sanded it lightly with a piece of 220 sandpaper, and it kind of looks like you can. So I've got my primer, and I did take off the piece that goes underneath here and primed it, and I'm going to prime this one because now I'm kind of committed, but I think maybe this will be okay to prime it and let that stuff kind of soak in and dry up well, and then put some paint on it. So we'll see how that goes. Might be okay, might be crazy, might not work. So we'll see, but I'll keep you posted. You'll learn when I learn. Well, I just can't seem to deal with rusty parts. This is a door, it's gonna be inside of the heater. No one's ever gonna see it, but I painted it, or I'm painting it. The other one's over there in the vise, standing up there drying. And this plastic piece right here has a coat of primer on it, and I got it hanging up here to see if it's going to dry and how it's going to behave once I get some paint on it. So that's my test. This is a door, that's a door, and this mess right here is just dusty right now, but I have sanded that and we'll probably clean that up and give her a little coat of primer once I'm convinced that that other piece over there works, because once I paint this, I'm committed. But then one would argue I'm already committed because I've sanded it. So, yep, there you go. Gonna paint it. All right, let's be honest. At this point in time, as much as we've been through together, I do not have to prove to you that I know how to run a rattle can spray paint, right? So, yeah, there's the heater duct stuff painted up, waiting to dry. I have a couple of boxes here from Quadratech. You're gonna have to wait till next go around before I open those. And I picked up a couple of sheets of adhesive-backed closed cell foam from the Michael's store. Felt a little weird in there with all the ladies buying all their Easter supplies, but I got this. I think this will work on those doors inside of the heater duct to kind of just seal them up and keep stuff from rattling and so forth. So I gotta let some paint dry. While that's all doing that, and while the rest of my parts are coming in from Quadratech, just gonna wrap this one up for now. And next go around, I'll put it back in, and I've started to have an idea about where to put that module for the fuel injection. So don't go anywhere. If you haven't subscribed, you probably should, because you're not going to want to miss that earth-shattering little piece of news. And I'll see you next time around. Thanks for watching.